Okay, we kind of talked about where clients and you sit on whether YouTube is TV. What do we make of shorts? And that's probably hard to generalize about short form video, but it's definitely an area of success for YouTube as they've kind of challenged TikTok. But it doesn't seem easy for advertisers to maybe figure out where that fits and what to do with it. Where do you and your clients stand there?
Yeah, I mean, we think there can be a lot of power in shorts because, again, if it's content that our customers love and they spend a lot of time with, you can absolutely get a lot of power in getting an ad message in there. The difficulty then is what kind of message do you get? How frequently do you get it?
Yeah.
Because the fact that the consumer is cycling through content really quickly and you're interrupting that very fast cycling.
Very different use case and behavior.
Right. And I think there's not always enough research around the mentality of the behavior and how receptive people are to an ad message and how often and what format, that there's not as much research to really help understand and guide advertisers. So it's easier sometimes to say, well, we're not going to do as much short form as we would do long form because someone's a little bit more lean back and a little less cycling through the content. That's, again, just a very blunt way of looking at it because we don't really understand where and in what consumer groups. Some are probably much more open to the ad message in the middle of that. Sometimes people aren't. But that cycling through content definitely means you have to take a different approach, and we're not always yet putting the strategies in place that are specific to short form. But clients that have and have spent time with what does short form creative look like? What does that frequency look like? What is that messaging in there? Can find some really good, unique opportunities to get to a customer in a way that not everyone is at this point.
So we play in both arenas for our partners. I would say that when it comes to shorts, you're going to see our client partners more in the likes of, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. But we also do include YouTube short format. But I think it's really about capturing like user intent in an impactful way with a short lifespan. So, but I think they definitely play a role. I think what's interesting about kind of traditional YouTube formats, and I mean, I was literally walking to our fun room. I was talking about our wallpaper in this room. I love it. But, and two of my teammates, taking their lunch break and they're both on their phones watching shows on YouTube. Yeah. I'm not joking. Like as I walked by, because I was kind of curious.
And that's probably a pretty regular thing, I would bet.
And it's absolutely a regular thing. And, both of these, teammates are under the age of 30. But my parents tune in and watch things on YouTube. So I don't think it's an age thing per se. I think it's just what is easy. Yeah. And I think YouTube, as well as many others, have provided content capture to be easy in that format.
Do you think in general is short form tougher for brands just because you're trying to squeeze messaging into a quick hit, less maybe welcoming environment?
So it's more difficult for brands if they're unwilling to commit to great creative.
Yeah.
So we really believe that like media is the vessel that brings the message. But without great creative, it really can fall on deaf ears.
Yeah, so, especially when you have such a short window.
Yeah. So I think as a brand, you have to be willing to commit to creating for the channel or the experience more like, so that you can leverage the strength of both. Because, as I'm a user of TikTok, I think I have 3 channels myself at this point. And I'm, it's like,
no shame there.
I like when I'm on the train ride home, it's like my, it's my guilty pleasure, I guess. But brands who have done it well in that short form context have done it well because they're creating content for the space. Yeah. But YouGov is a partner of ours, and they've had multiple studies now that talk about, even in short form, brands people are remembering the brands.
Right.
But it is absolutely brands who have created for the space.
Yeah, look, I think I was thinking of this in my head where it's like the old New York City buffet or college basketball teams that play a lot of defenses. If you're trying to do it all, you might not do any of it right. And I get skeptical of these platforms that introduce these new ad products because they dictate or they try to push a lot of inventory or delivery to those ad products, whether it be shorts or reels. And sometimes that could be really nice, cheap reach. But at other times, we're buying YouTube to buy that TV time spent. We're buying YouTube to buy that attention that's already there. We don't want to buy
that
YouTube.
creator, someone's into that video, spending a lot of time necessarily.
Exactly. We're not buying it for that new shiny object, especially for brands just starting out on YouTube. We don't want that first experience to be something like Shorts, which is untested and could be an attention opportunity. But for us, it might not be there yet. So we're going to go to TikTok for that really in-feed, creator driven, snackable or whatever short form content, and we're going to lean on YouTube for those long form videos or whatever type of video that person likes, as long as it fits our audience and it fits the brand profile we're trying to get out there. So
that's interesting. You don't view short form as not valuable or lesser than other kinds of attention, but it can be. You don't want that sort of forced into your feed or your ad plan.
Absolutely. We want, like you said, wherever the creator is most comfortable getting that message across and being in front of that content or within that content. We don't want to put our thumb on the scale, and I think any marketer would want that. We want to go where the audience is, and we don't want an algorithm or anything else to dictate that.
Well, it's important to acknowledge that YouTube Shorts exists and Instagram Reels exists because of the cannonball that was TikTok entering kind of the American zeitgeist. The eyeballs and time spent is impossible to ignore. But we would never run a connected television campaign that placed ad units also into short form, in this case, YouTube Shorts content. And there's a number of reasons for it, but I think we should acknowledge that CPMs for connected television tend to be the absolute highest in the entire digital ad ecosystem. And the intention of our clients is to leverage television content on televisions.
Yeah.
And it's just too debatable, with limited exception, to say that even if YouTube Shorts are being viewed on television, that's the intention of marketers. Now, a traditional, fully holistic, thoughtful campaign can and should include TikTok for as long as it's here stateside, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. But just consider that, price that, budget for that, and measure for that separately from your CTV.
Because of the ways that it's organized, there's so much flexibility around, what you want to put forth. You can put in things that have slightly less polish. There's an expectation that it's a little more rough, a little more guerrilla, and
that doesn't have to be about your perfect TV upfront kind of negotiation. This is like, let's move fast kind of thing.
This is speed. This is a recognition that it's a hybrid video social search-like environment that people want to participate in. And so getting there and being absolutely perfect isn't paramount.
Yeah.
There is intention around what we're doing. It's okay if some of those rough cuts make it. And it's fun to almost share some of the behind the scenes and have it be a little bit, we look at a lot of these advertisers that have been really successful in these environments. It wasn't because they were perfect.
Consumers are actually okay with that.
It's expected.
Yeah.
It's expected. This is the environment. If you're going to do it, this is the environment to do it. I think that's still an area, though, that we're all figuring out.
Yeah.
Of all of them, YouTube Shorts seems to be one of the places where everyone recognizes the value and is starting to say, what's the exact balance that I should be striking and how should I be smarter and more sophisticated in this area without boiling the ocean and be kind of like over segmenting it and trying to be everything to everyone.
It's still really new.
Very, very new. Absolutely.